I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I'm going to carry in my pack in the backcountry. So I'm going to separate it into 3 sections. The first is personal safety and comfort. The second is snow observation gear. And then the third is rescue and safety gear. So for our personal safety and comfort gear, I'm just going to go through what I carry in my pack, and then you can sort of decide based on your own needs. So first of all, I always carry a helmet. That's a really important piece of safety gear. Next, I have sun protection. So I have a buff, which is comfortable for warmth as well. Eye protection, so sunglasses, sunscreen, and a build hat. I'll also carry a beanie with me, something a little bit warmer. Next, I have at least 1.5 liters of water, and then I also carry either tea, hot chocolate, or soup. Miso soup's really yummy. Something warm with me, a warm liquid, and then a bag packed full of snacks that are efficient energy for me throughout the day. For my base layers, I have all synthetic, so I have a couple of synthetic long sleeves. Synthetic meaning basically no cotton. Cotton is not a good material for us to wear in the backcountry because we're sweating and then it's going to make us cold. So we want to wear things like fleece and wool. So I wear a pair of wool pants and then a long wool shirt. And then, so those are my base layers. I then have my insulation layer, so a thin puffy. I'll bring a thicker puffy like this for colder days. And then I have a waterproof outer shell. So I have a Gore-Tex or just waterproof top and bottom layer. I also have a pair of gloves or mittens, and I might bring an extra pair or a liner pair for if it's really cold or if someone else needs them and they get wet. And then a final piece of safety equipment that we have during COVID times is a mask, and maybe an extra mask in case yours gets sweaty or wet for when we're on the skin track and we're stopped and talking. So make sure you have one of these with you. Next, we're going to talk about our snow observation gear. So you're going to be provided with all of these things for the course. These ones you'll get to keep, and this you'll just use for the duration of the course, and then we'd encourage you to get your own afterwards. So first up, we've got our blue book. So this is our ARI Backcountry Decision-Making book. It's got guidelines on how to plan our tour, how to stick to it, and some really important tools for observation. We've also got some paracord and a snow saw. So these are both things that we're going to be using to make observations in our snow pits. And we'll talk more about that later. Finally, we've got our slope meter. So this is a tool to help us figure out the angles of the slopes that we are in or around and figure out whether or not we are in or near avalanche terrain. So we're going to start off with our rescue gear being our beacon, our shovel, and our probe. For our beacon, we have a digital beacon. We recommend 3 antennae. If you don't have one, you can borrow one from us. For your probe, we recommend 260 centimeters in length or longer. Again, you can rent this from us. And then our shovel, we recommend a metal shovel. Plastic is a no-go. And then it has an extendable handle. So for my first aid gear, I've got a huge first aid kit here. I recommend that you carry at least some form of first aid kit that will be useful to you in a rescue scenario. We've also got some with the program. We have a communication device, so we'll be carrying an inReach on this course. If you're somewhere where you're going to have cell phone service the whole time, a cell phone is just as effective. We've got some repair gear, so I have a multi-tool, a ski strap, and then I've got a pad for either repair or first aid purposes. During this course, we'll also have some radios. So among instructors, we'll have radios on our field days. They can be helpful for you and your ski partners as well. Finally, we've got our rescue sled. So this is our final piece of rescue equipment that we're going to have with us. We'll have it on the course and sort of pass it off between instructors because it is really bulky, but it is the only way to get someone out of the backcountry if they cannot walk or ski out. A cheaper option, so this is rescue specific. It's built specifically to sled somebody out of the backcountry. A cheaper and more accessible option might be a rescue or an emergency blanket bivy sack. So you can look into other ways to get someone out. So in this pack, it's about a 35-liter pack. It's as small as I would go personally, and it has its own pocket for my rescue gear, so my shovel and my probe. This is to make it really easy for me to access that and not have to shovel through all of the things in my backpack to access that gear. You can see that my probe, since it's in its own pocket in the backpack, is not in the sleeve. I just did this for ease of deployment. If you don't have a separate rescue pocket on your backpack, you just need to make sure that you are really efficient in getting your rescue gear out. And the way that you organize your pack is very intentional, and that it's not going to hinder you from having a quick rescue. So how are you going to maintain and keep nice your rescue gear? We're going to talk about our beacon, our shovel, and our probe as far as checking in on it yearly. So our beacons typically have a lifespan of about 10 years, but you're gonna want to do a range check every year at the start of every season, and we'll talk more about this during the course. Your probe, you just want to inspect it and make sure it's not bent, that it deploys easily, and that these cables are not frayed. And then for our shovel, we just want to make sure, same thing, it's not bent or cracked, and that it slides easily. For our beacons, companies like Ortavox and BCA have buyback programs, so you can send in your old beacon and get a discount on a new beacon as sort of a reward for keeping up to date on your safety gear. So that was an overview of the things that I'm going to carry in my pack and that we'll carry as instructors on this course. My number one piece of advice for you all is to get familiar with your own gear. So practice assembling and exploding your pack. Practice getting out your rescue gear efficiently. Make sure that everything fits and that you have everything that you need to be comfortable and happy all day. And then just get to know your own stuff. So get to know your own beacon, shovel, probe, etc.